What's up, guys? I went to a regional this weekend. It was about 256 players, 240 or something, and I managed to secure a top with branded tier. So yeah, pretty happy with the result. And yeah, I thought I'd go through the deck. Now, this was my first time actually playing this deck, which is quite funny. Yeah, I've been playing like Mathmech and stuff all format, but I've had the opinion that Branded Tier is the best deck of the format. Like since the beginning, I just didn't feel like playing it, and I don't know everything about Tier, and I'd say that I probably didn't play as well as I could have. Definitely there were one or two games that was like easy wins, but I just played a bit better. But in general, the list was really, really solid. I also got some help from some mates. Shout out Josh and Ahmad. They both hooked me up with some really, really good ideas for this deck, which definitely helped. But yeah, I just think it's the best tier variant. One of the things that I like, that I think tier struggles with, is obviously it loses quite hard to things like Dimensional Shifter and Abyss Dweller. And that's why I like the branded cards. I feel like the branded cards do a really good job of not hard losing to stuff like that. And so your tier engine is going to carry you through most matchups, but then you've got the branded engine also as kind of like a secondary backup. And then also Mirror Jade. I just think Mirror Jade is the best boss monster in Yu-Gi-Oh right now. I don't think that's changed since last format. And I think the combination of the two just gave me an edge. And I had 5 tier mirrors, and I only drew against one. Every other tier mirror I beat, and I largely think it's just down to the branded engine being better. I think it was like a lot of sprite tier. There was there was one runic tier, and I think the rest are like pure tier, well with like tiny high spirits engines and stuff. But yeah, I really think this variant is just the best. So I'll quickly go through it. So obviously we had the Despia card. So we have the Albion Dragon. This card's amazing, and I would play 3 of it. It's amazing. The fact that its name in graveyard is Albaz is great, because it means that if he's engraved sometimes with a tier, he can start your branded engine, which is nice. Or not start your branded engine, but he can get Mirror Jade on the field, which is great. And then the draw's just useful. Dumping high spirits is nice. Yeah, just a really, really good card in general. Adlib's amazing. Really nothing to say about it. It's just such a good card. It also means that Kaleido Heart and stuff is just hard to remove permanently, and you can feel confident in doing things like fusing your Kaleido, your Rukolos and stuff off for Chimera, because it's going to bring it back. So this card's just really, really good. I would play it at more than one in a build where I was playing more polys and it was more focused on polying, but because the tiers are often shuffling from the grave and stuff, this doesn't trigger as much. But it is a really, really good card. Then we've got the 2 Alubas. Aluba's really, really good normal summon. It's one of the ones you're going for a lot. Albaz, you just don't need any more than 2. Your tiers allow you to regenerate. Between tiers and Lubellion, you regenerate resources so efficiently that you never need more than 2, in my opinion. Reinhardt, oh, well, we'll talk about that later. Red Cartesia was actually not that good, and I think the problem is, in this variant, I'm not doing the Baron play, and so it just loses all relevance for the most part. I think this and High Spirits were definitely the worst 2 cards in my deck, because they just don't come up if you're not doing the Baron play, in my opinion, or maybe I'm just ignorant of more combos. So I would definitely cut this in the future, and I'd probably just replace her with like a Golden Lord or something, just another good light target. But yeah, she was definitely a brick in my hand a lot. The one tragedy, I was originally playing 3, but cut down to 1 again because I'm just not focused on polys. This card is amazing and it just facilitates a lot, but you just don't really need more than 1 in most games. And then if we talk about the tier monsters, so we've got the 3 Shaylin, the 2 Rhino. I'd only play 1 Rhino. All the tier monsters are just A1. These are all really good. 3 is fine. In siding, I would cut this down, Hafner's down to 2 a lot of the time, just because I don't want my opponent to know I'm playing tier if I'm blinding, and even if I'm not, I don't want to walk into their talents. So she became a bit less valuable, but going for in game 1, like having her 3 is fine. Reinhardt I'd actually cut down to 1. One of the things I wanted to do, but I just couldn't find the cards in time, is I wanted to play Fusion Deployment and keep up Draconic Magic. And yeah, so I feel like if I played 3 Fusion Deployment, 1 Rhino Heart, I have the 2 King of the Swamp and the Keep of Dragon Magic or whatever. Yeah, you just don't need more than 1, because this can be Rhino Heart, and other than that, this card is just not, like, you don't need multiple copies. You're always going to see it. After you've seen it the first time, you never really need to see it again, because your tier engine is online. So I would be fine with Rhino Heart at 1 personally, and then yeah, just having the King of the Swamp and the Dragon Magic to start my branded end tier engines. Then moving on to the spells, Instant Fusion, great. Talents was MVP for the whole day. Like, that card's just so insane. Like, every game, so I lost, I think 6 out of the 8 games I lost die roll, and it didn't matter, because if I saw talents in almost every game, and it just makes you win. There was one game where I opened like I opened, I think, Rhino Heart, Albaz, two talents, and then I don't know, maybe like a super poly or something going second. I was like, this is free, because it's just like the talents I used it on the first turn, then game got into a grind, then I used talents again later, and it just does so much. This card is really amazing, this format, because everyone is playing in your turn, and so it's just always live. It does so much. Yeah, talents is amazing. I mean, we all know it, but talents is really MVP. Poly is good. You search off King of the Swampetry for Chimera plays in your turn and such, which is nice. Another nice thing about Poly, obviously, is like doing things like when you have like Ad Lib or Tragedy in your hand with a tier, and then you fuse off into like a Masquerade, and then the tier triggers, and then the Ad Lib or Tragedy triggers. I mean, it's just really, really good. So yeah, Poly was nice. Branded Fusion. So this is where I think a big strength of this deck comes from. The ability to kind of have both Branded Fusion and the Rhino Heart or the tier kind of engine in the same deck is just great, because obviously it puts your opponent in this really weak position where they have to hit something. Now, not a lot of people are playing Ash, and even if they are playing Ash, it's like they can't Ash everything, they can't hand trap everything. And so it was just really, a lot of the times going second, my opponent just assumes I'm playing tier on their own, so I'd start with like this tier play, that tier play, this tier play, they'll stop it, and then Branded Fusion, and I just win. And what's great about this again is, like I said, it doesn't lose to cards like Dweller, and it doesn't lose to cards like Shifter as hard. I got shifted like 3 times in the tournament. It's fine, I would just send Tragedy and Albaz instead, and then I'll make a Masquerade, and then Tragedy would search, and then I'd use Tragedy's search for like a high to search for the Eluba, and then normal summon, make like a High Spirits or whatever. Then I've got a card in my hand so that on my opponent's turn I can play if I want to, for example. It was great. And so my opponent's turn, I'm going to discard the tier now, and now I get the tier fusion anyway. So yeah, really, really good card. Just, yeah, Branded Fusion, we all know it's good. Foolish is good as well. Branded High Spirits was, like I said, the worst card for me of the day. Every single game I sided out 2 copies. Having one I think is fine to dump off this, but I think in my variant where I'm not playing links, this card just didn't do the job. Also, the whole Rukalos play is good, but it wasn't so urgent that I needed it every turn. I didn't feel the need to play into Nib. Most of the time I was ending on kind of Mirror Jade banishment and stuff, and just people aren't playing Nib that much, and even if they are playing Nib, I don't need to play into Nib. I'll do things like leave him merrily on board. This is a play that one of my mates told me about. I would like leave merrily on board or something after summoning, but not use her effect, so if I do get Nibbed, I can still make a monster after. Little things like that. And so just because of that, this card just wasn't as valuable. The add back is kind of nice, but I just didn't need the discard outlets. Branded Opening, great card. Super Poly, I didn't see it most of the tournament. I think it's a great card. I just didn't see it. I think if I saw it more, it would have been great. I think I saw it in like 1 game. Heartbeat is great. Funny story, so in one of my matches, I had a great board, and then I had the Heartbeat. I had a choice between discarding the Heartbeat and a Celiac, and I was like, okay, I'll just discard the Heartbeat. Maybe this game I won't need it to out Mystic Mine. Pass to my opponent, and then they activate Mystic Mine. I was like, oh my gosh, punished. But I mean, I won that game anyway, but still, it's just a bit frustrating. Brandon Red, great card. Scream, I was playing this at 3 originally, but in this variant, your mills aren't strong a lot of the time, and so you just don't really want to rely on it. This card is amazing, but you just don't need to, you don't have to see it in this variant. 3 Perlino, this card's amazing. Yeah, not much to say about that. Branded Banishment, this is the 2nd MVP, so this and Talents were the 2 MVPs. This card is so strong in the tier matchup, and I think this carried a lot of my tier matchups, just because they would get there, like, normally with Super Poly, it's like, it's a bit hard to Super Poly tier, because if you Super Poly their tier monsters, they get effects and stuff like that. Or if you Super Poly like a Mirror Jade and stuff, and you don't, well, I mean, it still counts as Mirror Jade. But in any case, with Branded Banishment, it's so good because you're going to bring a monster of yours back, and then you're going to get rid of 2 of theirs sometimes, which is just so OP. Like, yeah, Banishment was just MVP. Shout out to Josh for telling me to put this card, because it was one of the best cards. It was the best engine card in my deck. Talents was the best non-engine, this was the best engine. And then the 2 Celiac, yeah, it's just good. I could play it at 3, I don't see why not. So yeah, 48. What's happening for me, in my opinion, is that the format and power creep is getting to a point where every deck is so efficient that it doesn't matter if you're at 40 a lot of the time, even post-siding. This deck doesn't need hand traps to play second. It's a bit like Invoke Shadow back in the day, where it's like you don't really need hand traps to play second because you've got so many power cards. And so you have a couple of kind of strong power spells, and that's about it. You're fine. And so yeah, playing at 48 was fine. Insiding, I never felt like I wasn't seeing cards and stuff like that. It's just really good. You also do thin your deck quite heavily after turn 1, which is also nice as well. But yeah, so 48. Then the extra deck, really nothing special about this. Again, like I said, this is the first time I was playing tier, so I wasn't trying to do anything special. I was just relying on the fact that the tier cards are broken. So Chimera OP, Kaleido Heart OP, Mirror Jade the best boss monster, so that's why I played 2 of it. Rucolos is a good card, however, it just didn't come up a lot. If I had a choice between, so I would use my tier stuff to beat my branded stuff because I felt like the branded stuff was stronger in terms of that boss monster. Even though the tier engine is stronger, the branded boss monster of Mirror Jade, in my opinion, is stronger than tier. That was a convoluted way of saying what I was trying to say. And so because of that, I wouldn't... So, for example, if I have like a Rhino Heart in my hand and a Sheeran in my hand with a monster, then I have Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion is always the last card I use. And so because of that, my tier stuff would get stopped. I would also I've got dueled once or twice and stuff like that, which is fine. So because of that, I didn't always get into this. I think I maybe made this like 3 times in the tournament because it's just, I would get stopped, but it's Branded Fusion I prioritize. Dragster I took this from one of the high rated players on DB, and he's one of the people that I was looking at for this deck as well. He was playing this deck as well, and he played 2 Dragster, and he was saying how it's just really nice for the recycling, and I agree. It's great because when you want to recycle cards later in the game and put Mirror Jades and stuff back, it's just great how you can put back a Fusion and a Dark, which is pretty much a combination of like anything in your deck, which is really nice. So having the 2 definitely came up. Lubellion, I would actually play this at 2. This card was really, really good. Like, just again, having that ability to bring tier monsters back from the banished zone is so strong because you do get hit. I did get hit with a lot of banished cards and all of this, and so having this active is great. It's also nice because it sends a tier with Branded Fusion, which is just really nice to start in your tier engine with your Branded Fusion as well if you have another tier in hand. Masquerade, I wouldn't actually play 2. It did come up once, but I didn't need to. I was bouncing between this and Quoritus. I would play 1 Masquerade and one Prosecinion, I don't know, the big one that's 3200 that banishes monsters. That's what I play in the future. So yeah, I didn't really need 2. I think one Masquerade was enough just because no one really was like, everyone had like Dark Ruler or Super Poly or something to easily clear your board, so I felt like it was redundant. And having 1 is enough pressure a lot of the time anyway. Having said that, one of my matches I did kind of get my opponent down to 2400 life points, put up 2, and then he just scooped because he knew he couldn't play enough to out the board. Albion's great, Kitcloss is great, Mudragon's great, and then Dark. Dark was our last second choice. I was playing Underworld Goddess, but I put Dark in instead for the mirror because I was like, I was expecting to play at least 1 mirror. I ended up playing 5 out of 8. But yeah, this is nice because like I use it to bring back an opponent's Kaleido. I used it to bring back an opponent's Merrily. Like, it's just a good card. And then you also, it's really nice with this obviously because you bring the card back and then it's like yours. So like, it's not like you've brought it back and then it's going to go back at the end of the turn. No, it's there until they kill it and then it goes to their grave, which is really, really great. So yeah, Dark was really nice. Then side deck. So my side deck wasn't amazing, I'll be honest. I should have prepared more for Flunder, even though I played 5 tier, 2 Flunder, 1 Thunder Dragon this deal. And I should have prepared more for Flunder. One of the things I was finding is that I just wasn't siding much. So the 3 evenly, I sided every game. This was really, really good. Droplet just wasn't that good. I sided it in once against Flunder and then they shifted me and the card was just useless. Cyclone, I didn't face any back row deck, so I didn't need to side it in. I never felt like between Fieldspot and Heartbeat, it was more than enough. Lava Golem, I did try to side it in once, but the problem with Lava Golem essentially is that I have 6 good normal summons in my deck. All of these are great normal summons. Even though this effect never goes through, it is an amazing normal summon. And so because of that, I just never really wanted to waste my normal summon with a Lava Golem. Like, no board ever felt that threatening. So yeah, I don't think I would have Lava Golem in the future. And Nib, I never sided this in just because, again, every deck plays around Nib. It doesn't feel valuable to Nib anyone. So my matchup, so round 1, I was against Flunder. That was my only loss of the day. It was really funny. So the tournament started several hours late. It was such a struggle to get up there. I was just really in a bad mood, and then I was against Flunder and I got shifted 3 games in a row. And like, even though this deck can play free shifter, you need to see branded to play free shifter, and I didn't see any branded stuff apart from game 3, and he had judgment as well. So it was a bit sad because yeah, that put me in a bad mood. But I was like, I'll stick it out. So then round 2 and 3 were against Tia. They were both quick 2-0s. I think I lost both dice rolls, and it was just not too hard to play, like I said. Both of them I think were pure Tia. Maybe 1 runic tier and 1 pure tier, but yeah, quick easy wins. Round 4 was against Thunder. Unfortunately, he bricked. One of the things I would say as well is this deck didn't brick really for me. I never really bricked. Like, there were strong hands or weak hands, but it was my hand loses to 2 hand traps and my hand loses to 3 hand traps. That was the kind of brick I would get, not I just have to pass on nothing, which I did really like. Round 5 was against Tier again. Round 6 was... No, round 5 was against Flunder. And that was a really long game, but I ended up winning that. Round 6 was against Tia. That was a mirror match against a mate of mine, and that's the only draw I had of the tournament. Round 7 was another tier. Round 8 was another tier, and yeah, won those both too as well. So yeah, the deck did really good job, really good. I think for next format, I actually think Branded is still strong in the Shuzu format, but the build I'm going to go with, I still need to work out, because I don't want to put Shizu cards in my deck, but I do think they're probably going to be needed. But in general, I just do still think this deck has some potential going forward. It doesn't really lose that much strength in Branded in Ishizu format. It just so happens that Ishizu tier is the best deck, but this is still a good deck as opposed to being the best deck, which I actually think it is now. Yeah, so not much else to say. Thank you all for watching. As you guys can tell, I'd been kind of taking a break from YouTube for a while. Just life was quite busy, and I wasn't as interested in Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm getting more into it. So hopefully you guys will be seeing a lot more content from me. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. Peace.